Flash Freeze is the third and final Excidium raid. Today I want to go through the 105 target with my Excidium fleet. I'll show you the build at the end for as low repair as I can manage. I'm aiming for instant base repair, and you'll probably know from the thumbnail if I've got that or not. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to enter from the bottom left of the target. I find that to be pretty helpful because you can hit these specters pretty early. The general strategy for this target is going to be to stay moving away from things and stay at maximum range. That's because you can reduce the damage from things by doing that. Against the torpedoes, it's pretty clear how that helps because you want to try and move away from something to give your countermeasures more time to shoot at it. Against the dumbfire stuff, that's also relatively straightforward. The two ships I'm hitting right now are not dumbfire, so you don't need to worry about those. They don't shoot at you. But things like the pathfinders are, and you need to make sure you stay moving in a straight line as far away from these guys as possible while doing enough damage to kill him completely. Because if you have to come by and do a second pass at him, if a guy I speed up right about here, I would actually not do enough damage to him to kill him completely, meaning I have to loop back, and now I take more damage than I should. With these specters, I find having 3 countermeasure ships is helpful, and with everything else, 3 damage ships is helpful. Unfortunately, you can't have 6 ships in a fleet, although if we could, Kixeye would tune for that one, so you have to kind of make do and pick which one you want. Those of you who have all legendary weapons might actually have better success than I'm having against some of these targets because you can kill the pathfinders a little bit more easily. Now, something you can do, and I tried to do a little bit of there, is deploy your combat speed filled in a way that will actually give you combat speed when you want it. You can loop back at some stuff, although I have limited success doing that one. It does work better in my mind at the end of the target when there's only marauders and you don't have to worry about anyone else, because at this point I've probably taken about 20 minutes of damage, which is almost as much as I want to take the entire target. But again, if you have the combat speed fill deployed near the Pathfinder, you can use that to boost yourself up, get in range quickly, and try and kill it before it shoots at you that many times. I'm going to go ahead and loop back here and engage the Marauders and not the Spectres. The Spectres have a pretty long range, but you can kind of avoid some of that. And again, only engage one of those torpedo-type ships at a time, one of the torpedo-type clusters at a time, because they have a pretty substantial amount of damage if you are waiting. And again, rocket ships, try and use the built-in speed stuff to outrun them, but you can't always do that successfully. I am running with a Silent Hunter's crew. I find that is kind of helpful for the combat speed, although the Steelheads is also a very useful crew because it's a flat-out 20% damage reduction no matter what, whereas this one is a little bit more of a gamble. You might avoid all the damage completely now when you wouldn't have before. I don't think it's quite fast enough, which is why I'm trying to, again, still use the speed boosts if you can. This is likely going to be a little bit over 25 minutes of repair, but the general techniques and stuff should still apply. By the way, I think that these mortars that hit right there didn't do any damage to me because they were so far away when they landed. I haven't actually seen the retreat bar change in any cases like that. There was a case where using the combat speed stuff was slightly beneficial. See if I can do it again on these guys, and I did. It hit much further behind me than it otherwise would have. One more time here against the Marauders on the bottom. Getting a little bit overwhelmed with countermeasure stuff now, so make sure you're moving away from those guys. You can kind of hit 2 Marauder clusters at a time. You definitely can't hit 2 Spectre clusters at a time. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the damage, the battle report, and the build, and see what kind of results we got with this one. I'm expecting a lot more explosive damage than concussive, which, if that's true, means that I did a pretty good job against the torpedoes and the pathfinders, but a little bit less of a good job against some of the rocket ships, and that looks like it's generally true. Total repair time here is 35 minutes, which is a little bit higher than I was going for, but I do want to get this video out to you today rather than do something like record 10 or 20 runs and only post the one where I get exactly perfect driving. In terms of the build, I am using 3 countermeasure ships and 2 damage ships. It doesn't matter which ones are which in terms of flag or otherwise. Some legendary weapons on that flag, which is a damage one. Some legendary, mostly just the 1-star on the second cap ship. Third ship, countermeasure, it has some yellow weapons. Great. I should probably move the epics to the one that does damage rather than have them on the countermeasure one, because this guy is not boosted by damage special. and then another countermeasure ship with 1-star weapons, and the last ship, if you are counting correctly, is the third countermeasure. It has some blue weapons and it is only X1. I intend to use some tokens and stuff like that to get this guy up to cap, which means my damage will drop even further by adding the armor points, adding the survival, and I guess the cap field is a little bit nice, but not necessary. If you have any questions on the build or the target, go and let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. With that said, I want to give a huge shout out to the channel members whose names appear on the end screen now. They're helping make videos like this one, coming out the first day of the raid possible. With that said, and until next time, this is Derpy, signing out, helping you be a better pirate.